When I was the corporate relations manager of our company, I had a list of organizations and companies that I was chasing. And on top of that list was Ashesi University. Our first day at Ashesi, we met the then dean of students, Ruth Kwakwa, a very lovely woman. And when we entered her office, the first question she asked us was, "What is your story?" And by that question, she meant that um, how did we all become employees of Brave Hearts Expeditions? I still remember her face and then the relish and the interest and the enthusiasm with which she was soaking everything that we were saying. And that simple question was what pushed the conversation higher, and we got the contract with Ashesi. Up till now, Ashesi still remains our client. What is your story? I believe you all have stories, good, bad, worse, you name it. But there's something interesting that happened in Acts chapter 9, and that's what I wanted to talk about this today. Saul had been all that killing Christians and being very bad towards them. And then after his Damascus experience, he started now preaching. So he woke up one day and then decided to go to Jerusalem and kind of introduce himself to the apostles and then the disciples. And that was when he faced the greatest rejection of his life. And they didn't want to accept him. Of course, they were afraid and they were not sure whether he was tricking them or what. Then one person, Barnabas, in spite of Saul's past record, decided to project the new story of Paul or Saul, trying to let the disciples understand that yes, he used to be that, but there's been experience he's had, and this is the new him. Are we rejecting the old story and accepting the new story that he has now, or what? And by pushing, he was able to convince the disciples and the apostles to accept Paul as part of them. In our world today, it's common to hear people say, "Oh, tell your own story, project your own story." It's good to project your own story, but sometimes the projection would not be enough for you to get to the point that you need to get to. Paul got to a point in his life where he was telling his own story, but he needed people to pitch in. And that is why Barnabases in our lives are important. People who believe in our stories, people who would, in spite of the situation, stand with us and say, "No, this is how this should be, or this is how this person is, or this is why I'm supporting this person." I know sometimes it's hard to believe people or to talk a certain way about them when you've known them or you've known their past for a very long time. But just like Barnabas, this year, perhaps one of the things we should focus on is telling the positive aspect of people's life, being intentional about projecting what makes the difference in them and not dwelling on their past stories. And these are some of the things I intend doing this year. My next poem is entitled "What's Your Story?" and the inspiration is from Acts chapter 9 and my own experience with Ashesi. This year, let's all commit to telling people's positive stories as we also hope that others will be Barnabas towards us when the time comes. If you have a beautiful story that you want to share in terms of your experience, you're also welcome. But until then, thank you all so much and have a blessed week.